Hello everyone and welcome to OurVentura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. Thank you all for joining us. On our show today, we'd like to welcome Ventura County District Attorney Greg Totten and also Rachael Watkins, Crime Victim Assistant Program Supervisor in the District Attorney's Office. Thank you both for joining us on the program today.
Pleasure to be with you.
Good.
Thank you.
We have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. We'd like to talk about the duties of your office, Greg. Ventura County District Attorney tends to be quite different from what we see on television. I think people would be very surprised all the hard work and effort that goes into what you do. Can you just give us an overview of what you are doing on a daily basis?
Yes, some of the television shows that we watch about district attorneys can be a little misleading.
Yes.
But at our core, we have two primary responsibilities.
Okay.
First of all, prosecutors are law enforcement officials. We have a responsibility to protect this wonderful community we serve by the way we administer the laws under the state of California and the way we charge and prosecute cases. Our second responsibility is something that distinguishes us from all other lawyers. We are administrators of justice. So when we prosecute a case, we not only have a responsibility to the community to do it in a way that protects them, but also we have a responsibility to ensure that justice is done, that the right thing is done. It's been said by Supreme Court justices that our role is that neither guilt escape nor innocence suffer, and we take that very seriously here in Ventura County.
That's good to know. As a law enforcement official, you mentioned public safety and being an administrator of justice. I think for your role in being a district attorney, that can be very challenging sometimes.
It is challenging. We see crime victims that often when they come to the office of district attorney, they're at a low point in life.
Yes.
They've suffered horrible wrongs and their lives in many cases have been forever altered. It's not uncommon for victims to come to the office in a wheelchair because they've been involved in a drunk driving collision. Right. So being exposed to that can be challenging. But by the same token, we also get to see people that we help.
Good.
We help through our victim services program. We help go through the criminal justice system, and at the end, hopefully help deliver justice in their case, which helps them go on after a serious crime.
Right. Rachael, I'd like you to talk about the Crime Victim Assistant Unit that you are a part of and what it does and how you work with Mr. Totten's office as well.
Okay, well, we are the Crime Victim Assistance Unit within the District Attorney's Office, and we see over 6,000 victims of crime a year, a range of crime types. We have a very dedicated staff of over 20 victim advocates. On a daily basis, we may be assisting people and victims of elder abuse, domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault, human trafficking, DUI with injury, all the way up to surviving members of homicide victims' families. We have a walk-in window that anyone from the public can come up to and access through our office. You do not have to have reported a crime to be assisted. We will encourage that. There are many certain areas in the penal code section that we are obligated to provide services along with, such as orientation to criminal justice system, case status, court support, emergency assistance. Truly though, when someone walks up to the window, we are in needing of meeting that person where they're at and developing a plan with them that's going to help them get through the trauma that they've endured and come out in a better place.
Good for you. Greg, did you have a big part in putting this unit together, or was this something that was in the works for quite a while?
My predecessor, Mike Bradbury, began the unit really more than 30 years ago, and we have certainly been able to expand the unit and change as crime has changed and as our victims and what they've experienced has changed. We've grown with that. One of the big projects that we're embarked upon now that really is going to change the way we deal with many victims is a family justice center. And just to give you a little background on that, just in the last 2 years we've had 17 children that have lost parents to domestic violence.
That's too many.
It's way too many.
Way too many.
One is way too many. but we've had also 19 individuals that have lost their lives to domestic violence. And so what we're trying to bring to Ventura County, and we have a huge coalition of public and private partners, is a facility that will treat the full spectrum of services that are needed by domestic violence victims and also impact those children. We know that children growing up and being exposed to violence in the home, which is one of our most significant societal problems that we have in America today. We know that those children that are exposed to violence are at significantly greater risk of becoming perpetrators of violence as adults, or being victims of violence as adults, and also having a wide array of both mental, substance abuse, and physical health issues. And so if we can deal with those children in a way that charts a course of hope and promise and optimism, rather than this experience defines your future forever, we know that we're going to impact crime. I actually feel, as a law enforcement official for more than 36 years now, I feel this is one of the most promising programs we have that will actually reduce crime and save lives.
And that's a big thing here in Ventura County. You want to see that go down.
We want it to become a reality.
This is a beautiful community. You want to keep it that way, and you want to keep it a safe community, and I think people would agree with that.
Yes.
Now, Rachael, how much involvement will you have with that as well?
We are directly involved.
Okay.
We will have advocates that are stationed at the Family Justice Center,
You will. Okay.
along with many community members, law enforcement, social service agencies, civil health, self-help arena. So it's really, the Family Justice Center is really a place where a victim can come in and be assisted under one roof. Right now, when a victim comes up to our office, we may end up having to work with them in a way where we're trying to send them to multiple different agencies, and that can't all happen in one day.
Many of our victims have serious economic challenges, and if you can imagine, if you've been a victim of domestic violence and you have children, all of a sudden your housing is an issue. You may not have transportation. So under our existing structure, unfortunately, victims have to run a gauntlet of services. They'll have to go to one location for a forensic examination, another location to talk to law enforcement, another location to talk to social services. Our objective, our goal, our vision is to put all of these services under one roof and not just have the immediacy of problems addressed, but deal with them in a long-term way that changes the trajectory for the victim as well as the children.
I know that you're currently working on a bill that would secure federal funding to help solve and prosecute cold cases involving violent crime suspects identified through DNA evidence, which, this is a very big, important point. An example, the notorious Golden State killer case, which you were having a big role in. I just want you to touch on that a little bit and how you feel that's going to advance in solving many, many cases.
DNA has been a passion for me and frankly for the Ventura County District Attorney's Office for many years.
Yes.
The bill that you speak of is called the Justice Served Act. It is a proposal that has gotten through the House of Representatives in the United States Congress on a 377-to-1 vote. There was only one person who voted no, and now it is pending in the Senate. What this bill would do, it is a historically very significant proposal, because for the first time, the federal government would actually have a line item appropriation that would be available for local district attorneys for the investigation and prosecution of cold cases. Part of the challenge we face in DNA cold cases is we tend to be, in law enforcement, frontline law enforcement district attorney's offices, we tend to be focused on the crime that occurred last weekend. Because we know if we can solve that in 48 hours, that's our best time period.
You have a better chance.
And so for a case that's 10, 15, 20, and in some cases 30 years old or 40 years old, as in the case of the Golden State Killer, it's very difficult to concentrate dedicated resources on those cases. So what the Justice Served Act would do is provide separate independent funds from the federal government to do just that, to focus on those old cases.
Did you and your team at the district attorney's office work a long time on that case?
Golden State Killer case, interestingly enough, was the very first case I ever worked on
Was
as
it really?
a law student in the
Okay.
DA's office when I first joined the office. It is a significant case that has literally received thousands upon, probably tens of thousands of hours of investigative and prosecutor work over the many years.
Right.
And it wasn't until we were able to use genetic genealogy and ancestry databases to identify this individual, because he wasn't in the traditional law enforcement database.
That's true, yes. I know integrity and character is very important to you. It's a big part of your role as a district attorney. Could you expand on that a little bit more and tell me how you feel about that?
It should be an important part of any law enforcement agency. And as district attorneys, we have tremendous authority and power over lives. When we charge somebody, we label that person.
Yes.
And those labels can carry disastrous consequences for the individuals, not only in terms of depriving them of their liberty and freedom, but also a label that carries over to interaction with the community at large. And so it's very important that when prosecutors make those life-altering decisions, they're making those decisions for the right reasons, for reasons based upon law, facts, and evidence, as opposed to some personal issues. So we have long trained, we've long emphasized in every aspect of our administration of justice that we are committed to doing what is right.
Okay. Technology, let's talk a bit about that. Technology, cybercrime, big crimes now on the rise in that regard. How do you both feel about handling problems there, and what is being done to go in that direction to solve those crimes?
We administer in Ventura County a high-tech task force that is very much a partnership with the Sheriff's Department, with numerous other law enforcement agencies, because technology has impacted us both from the standpoint of where computers are used as a mechanism of committing crime. A lot of the fraud and identity theft and things of that nature occur through the use of those devices. But technology also presents evidentiary challenges. Now we find that phones, a phone is a computer. These smartphones, and in our cases, we encounter huge volumes of technological evidence. And so every year, our high-tech task force analyzes high-tech evidence and information from computers, from iPhones and other devices that probably, if you were to put it on an 8.5 by 11 paper and stack it one on the end of the other, it would stack several miles high. It's just something we have to deal with now.
Yeah. Is that something you also work with in your crime victims unit too?
Yes, absolutely. And in our regard, it's really about awareness and education to the victims that are coming through, and also cluing them in and letting them know, informing them of certain rights that they have that are specific to those. For example, in a domestic violence restraining order, one can ask for a cell phone to be actually the payments and the entire plan to be given over to the victim, and the judge can look at that. So there are lots of things that you wouldn't want to know unless you needed to know, and our advocates are there to be able to inform the victims as they move forward.
Okay, terrific. I know in your office there's quite a few people. How many people are on your staff, and what is your budget, really quick?
We have about 280 staff of about 280 individual professionals. We've got more than 100 lawyers. Approximately 50 peace officers, very veteran detectives that we typically hire from local police agencies and other jurisdictions as well, that help us with our cases, but also do original investigation. Then we have victim advocates and our support staff that make a difference every day.
And budget?
Budget is slightly more than $50 million every year that we manage, and we try to be very good stewards of the resources that are entrusted to us.
That's good. That's good to know. If you can, please share the website with us, so if there are viewers interested, they could get more information on some of the programs that you have going on right now.
I'd be happy to. Our website is VC District Attorney, VC District Attorney, all one word, .com.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, both Rachael and District Attorney Greg Totten.
My pleasure.
We appreciate your time and
Thank
effort
you.
in being here, and keep up all the great work that you're doing with the District Attorney's Office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today on Our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. See you next time, everyone. Bye.